Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought.
What's so funny?
Welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Jim Webb, and we have a surprise guest for you, although I guess the cat is out of the bag. Each week, we get together and we discuss an aspect of prosperity. We may discuss financial prosperity, where we have all of the financial resources for a comfortable, easy, and rewarding life. We may discuss spiritual prosperity, where we have the peace that passes all understanding. We may discuss professional prosperity, where, in the words of Florence Scovel Shinn, we have a wonderful job with wonderful pay. We provide a wonderful service in a wonderful way. Or any other aspect of prosperity, because we understand that prosperity is more than money and stuff. So each week we get together and we either look at a way that we can enhance our existing prosperity, or we look at a way that we can remove a barrier to the prosperity that already exists. This week, we are looking at a way to remove one of the key barriers to prosperity, which is shame. We are looking at how to unshame your way to prosperity. John Bradshaw, who did a great deal of work with healing and championing the inner child, also did a second book called Healing the Shame That Binds You. And he, in his book, says that shame is the source of many inner states, such as depression, self-doubt, alienation, loneliness, and paranoia. And it so destroys our authentic self, and toxic shame causes neuroses, character disorders, and otherwise twists our lives into lives of pain and suffering instead of lives of prosperity. So tonight, Reverend Daniel Newsom and I are in the same location, and off camera he's poking me, making me laugh. But we are going to discuss unshaming your way to prosperity, healing shame, and how to undo shame that keeps us from feeling deserving of our prosperity. Welcome, Reverend Daniel Newsom.
Well, thank you. And I do have to ask you, what was so funny at the beginning of this show? I'm just very, very curious.
Reverend Newsom was teasing me right before the show.
Oh, okay.
That's what was so funny.
Okay.
So now that we've got that cleared up for our audience,
yes, all right.
Let's talk about shame.
All right.
Have you ever felt shame, Reverend Daniel?
Oh, God, yes.
Tell us about your experience of this and how it affected you.
Well, my goodness, I was an unusual child.
Mm-hmm.
I had unusual parents.
Okay.
Unusual circumstances.
Okay.
And, as a kid, I would watch TV. There was there was all these shows where there was a mother and a father, and the father worked and the mother stayed at home, and the mother her life was devoted to raising her children and taking care of her husband.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was not like that.
Okay. It was your mother, and that relationship was unusual.
It was unusual.
Okay.
Then, I was a child, and I was born into obviously a male body, but there was a lot of femininity in me as a child, and that
Back
was
then too.
Well, that's really rude of you. Also, I was overweight then, which obviously I'm not anymore. Thank you very much. So there were many other issues.
Okay.
So there was always this feeling of, I shouldn't be the way I am.
Okay.
My, my family is, my mother is so out there. My father is so eccentric. A lot of shame.
Yeah.
So that.
And how did that affect your feelings of deservingness and your ability to allow yourself your good?
Well, I think, when you're a child, you don't really think about feelings of deservingness. What it does is it does cause you to want to hide yourself and protect yourself, because kids are also very, very cruel.
Yes.
And
they tease.
Yeah. And so it created within me a feeling of defensive-ness. Like I didn't trust people, because people would be the source of emotional pain for me.
Okay.
But I'm sure, it did cause me not to have the needed amount of self-love and self-acceptance to be able to have a happy, fulfilling life. Now, this is all in my childhood, and it really didn't get sorted out until I started my work on the path of self-transformation and found my spiritual teacher and all of that.
Okay. So, in other words, deep shame kept you from being the light that could attract and retain prosperity.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And that is the case for all of us. Shame has been described exactly as Reverend Daniel Newsom described it. A feeling that you shouldn't be who you are. And when those feelings are very deep, they affect us in so many pernicious ways. And the end result is quite often feelings of sadness, loneliness, feelings of failure, and the unconscious undeservingness that keeps us from our good. Because if we're sad, if we're feeling as if we failed, if we're lonely, if we feel isolated, if we feel less than, naturally we don't feel happy. So shame robs us of the happiness that is an aspect of prosperity. So you mentioned, Reverend Daniel, that you started a path of inner transformation, and that helped you to begin to address some shame. Can you talk about transformation and how it affects or can address shame?
Absolutely. So transformation occurs, probably, as everybody who's watching this or listening to this knows, when you reach the end of your rope, living under the ego consciousness and its guidance. And actually, as you actually gave in your sermon today, which I had the privilege of reading and hearing, all of us who are on earth experiencing the reincarnational cycles of life here, we are being moved, and we are naturally moving toward release and evolution out of the ego consciousness and into realizing that who and what we are is God individuated. So the path of transformation is a path where you make a connection with your highest self, with the part of yourself that is God. You discover that that part of you is literally the same creative power and intelligence that's created all that is. And forgive me if I'm talking too much, but on the ride up here where I had that experience, looking out of the car window and seeing that cloud formation and the sun, and that's higher consciousness. That's God.
Yes.
And so you discover that you are something more. There is something more inside of you than this personality that was formed by your relationship with your parents. So transformation is actually opening up to all of the distortions and lack of self-love in your ego consciousness, in your personality, and through the miracle, the transformation, the light that God's heart sends to us, transforming that anger, that fear, that pain, that lack of love. When you say, God, I let you in, and I understand that as the child that I was, I didn't love myself. I felt something was wrong with me. So I will now let your light in, and I accept being changed. I accept being transformed. And step by step, day by day, moment by moment, that path works. Because the way my life manifested, I met my spiritual teacher when I was 21, and I've had the most amazing life as an adult.
Yes.
And that's the path of self-transformation.
So it's taking all of those feelings of shame.
Yes.
And just like light is a disinfectant, taking those feelings of shame and, in a sense, neutralizing them and using love, God's love, as the agent that neutralizes shame and then turns what was shame, self-hatred, self-doubt, feelings of not enoughness, feelings of undeservingness, turning them into love.
Exactly.
It's like an alchemy.
Yes,
That's what you say?
I absolutely would say that. And for prosperity, or to live in the miracle of prosperity, your whole spiritual psychic system must be infused with love and deservingness. And that leaves you open, and then Source, God, can pour all of this abundance into you.
Yes.
So that is why unshaming yourself is an essential part of prosperity.
Absolutely. In my book, The Soul of Prosperity, it's kind of written like an hourglass. All of these reasons that prosperity has eluded us, and all of the things that we must be aware of. But right at the center of that hourglass, before the second part, which is the practices, right at the center of the hourglass, where it gets smallest, is one sentence: self-love is the key to prosperity.
Wow.
And self-love is what replaces shame in a process of transformation. So can we talk a little bit more about self-love as the antidote
I would
to shame?
love to talk about that, because that's very exciting for me.
Yes.
Because it is self-love that's not based in anything the world teaches you about why you should love yourself.
Yes.
It's self-love not based on your sex, your gender identity, how much money you have, who your parents were, how educated they were, the house you live in, the car you drive, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, all the stuff that the world teaches you. Well, you've got to have all of this stuff in order to love yourself. This self-love comes from your accepting yourself as the holy, beloved, innocent, infinitely deserving creation of God. And if I may,
yes, you may.
Thank you. I would love to share with our siblings who are witnessing this podcast a powerful prayer that the angelic realm has given through my channel, and it is the prayer of self-love. I'm caused by God within me to love myself with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my mind, with all of my being, with all that I am and all that I have within me. And if you take the time in your spiritual practice to really drink that prayer in, to speak it slowly, to breathe it in through the 7 major chakras of your body, to let the Spirit of God enter in and cause you to have that kind of self-love. Because that kind of self-love, it's not something your mind can produce. It really is a mystical, spiritual experience.
Yes, I experience it as almost this vibrating energy of love that is independent of anything outside of me.
Yes.
And so I distinctly remember one time, it was like in May or in April in DC. It was one of the first warm days where you could sit outside at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there and feeling almost this ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I can describe this ecstasy is the same ecstasy that happens right before a shout,
Mm-hmm.
that pre-shout ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sitting there and this feeling came over me. And it had nothing to do with the restaurant, because the only restaurant I could get a table at was a restaurant that I absolutely disliked.
Okay.
All the popular restaurants were filled already. It was the first time you could sit in a restaurant outside.
Yeah.
So I disliked the restaurant. The service was awful. The food was terrible. But none of that mattered. And it was overpriced. But none of that mattered.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, that's when I realized self-love has absolutely nothing to do with anything outside of you. It is an inner energy that you cultivate through your daily spiritual practice.
Absolutely.
And self-love in itself not only is prosperity, but it is the gateway to prosperity. For when you are vibrating in this, you attract more of it to you.
You do.
And it is the antidote to shame.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remove, release, transform shame in order to create a place for that self-love.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we allude to often, but we elaborate on too little, I believe, is I believe it's chapter 9 or 10 in my book, the whole chapter on emotional release, because that has to do with displacing that which blocks prosperity, which creates a void where that which draws more prosperity can flow into you, into your inner space, that place of attraction. Can you talk about that, Reverend Newsom?
I certainly can. You said it. The emotional body, which corresponds to the solar plexus chakra, your gut, right above your navel. That's our magnetic center.
Yes.
That's where we hold our patterning. That's where we hold the trauma or the really hard experiences that we've actually had, if not in this life, in past lives. We hold that in the emotional body. And that patterning is what we create.
Yes.
So the act of emotional release actually releases the patterning. So if your patterning has produced the experience of becoming physically ill, or produced the experience of financial lack, emotional release would be letting yourself really feel the pain of that, letting yourself cry, scream, stomp, yell, wow, whatever you need to do to really express the emotion. And in doing it in that powerful way, you're actually releasing the pattern.
Express, to press it from you.
Exactly. And that will leave you open to being filled.
Because nature abhors a vacuum, and the light of God has been waiting for you to open to its love.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that process, which is a part of the path of transformation, cannot be glissed over or glided over. It cannot be underemphasized. It requires self-awareness. It requires safety, creating a safe space for yourself where you will not harm yourself or anyone. It requires the release of judgment. A Course in Miracles, one of the key lessons is, I will not judge anything I see, for it all has come to heal me. So we don't judge ourselves. We don't judge the emotions that we're feeling. We just allow ourselves, from that place of our highest consciousness, to objectively see, this is what I'm feeling, and to release that, creating that void. And then ask, what is the truth I need to know? How can I see this differently? And what would change if this were turned into love? And then creating that with love can be very powerful. So healing shame is extremely important, because shame blocks prosperity, and self-love, which is the antidote to shame, heals shame and thus allows more prosperity. So we know you may have some questions on this. So we're going to take a break right now and give you an opportunity to type in your questions in the chat, and then we'll discuss your questions on the other side here on the New Thought Media Network. And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity on the New Thought Media Network with my special guest, who is actually in studio with me, the Reverend Daniel Newsom. Now, we've been having a fruitful conversation on unshaming your way to prosperity and how your daily spiritual practice of opening to the light, the love, the grace, the healing embrace, and the experience of God to you, through you, and as you can help lift the shame that you may have carried from your childhood and its traumas and displace it with the love of God that is not only prosperity in itself, but is also the key to prosperity. So, Reverend Daniel Newsom, quite often when we're in the midst of our busy day, we don't have time to sit down and think, "Ooh, I may have some shame from 3 years old that's causing me to act out this way." Mm-hmm. So what are some easy, simple, and other ways to identify when shame could be getting in the way or blocking our prosperity or being one of our inner saboteurs?
Well, look at how, if you're in the middle of your busy day, but if you're having a conversation with someone, mm-hmm. just see the things you don't really want the other person to know. Like they might ask you a question, mm-hmm. and just, am I completely open and authentic when I'm asked this question? Do I really give the answer? That's one of the ways. And I know you said we don't, in the midst of our busy day, are there ways that you can unearth shame? That is one of the ways, just to really pay attention to yourself and the way you react and respond in your relationships with the people that you're encountering during the day.
Okay.
However, I do need to go back to the spiritual practice, because if you really want to get to the root of this, when you go into meditation, when you go into prayer, you ask God, you say, "God, I want to know what my shame is." And you can then jumpstart yourself by working with some of the stuff that I talked about at the beginning of our podcast. How did I feel about myself when I was a child? How did I feel about my parents, my family? Are there things about my past that I don't want other people to know right now? Or are there things about what I think and feel and do in the present that I don't want other people to know about? There is your shame.
There is your shame right there.
It's right there. And I'm not saying that you have to tell people those things, but you have to be real with yourself.
Yes.
And you can still keep it private, but you got to let God know, okay, that's where I've got shame, and I don't want to have shame anymore. So I'm calling for its transformation.
Yes.
And the one other thing I will say, and that I will say, is that when any human being goes on the path of self-transformation, all of heaven opens up to help that person. The angels will come and they will help you get in touch with your shame. If you say, that's what I want to do, they will help you get in touch with your guilt, your self-judgment, anything that's in you that's blocking you from accepting heaven and heaven on earth. The Holy Spirit of God in the angelic realm will help you unearth it.
Wow. So bring God into the mix.
Yes.
Bring God into your daily spiritual practice. Bring God into those places where you think that even God has judged you, but it's really you judging you. Yeah. Look at them objectively. Look at them compassionately. Look at them lovingly, because that's how God sees them. They're just mistakes that you made in thinking. And then allow the light, the love, the healing, and the grace of God to heal and transform them. Now, at I believe about 25 after the hour, Rosabella had a question. And we'll work with that as well. We can't read it, so Michael, if you could read it for us, please.
Well, here I am. Can you expound a bit on some steps one can take to allow self-love to manifest the heart's desires soon and very soon? Thank you.
Yes, I can work with that, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
In my current class, which is Mastering Manifestation Magic, we are doing just that. What it has to do with is the fact that we are all masters. The light has come, as A Course in Miracles lesson 75 says, we are healed and we can heal. We have stepped, each and every one of us under the sound of my voice, we have stepped into a higher realm of vibration, into a higher frequency. And the veil between our world and the world of unconditional love, infinite blessings, and immediate manifestation, that veil has been lifted. So our task is to continually pull ourselves up to that level, pull ourselves up to that space. And from that space, manifestation can happen immediately. But from that space, there is no shame. From that space, there is no self-doubt. From that space, there is nothing unlike love. So we can manifest our heart's desires by stepping not into the ego and its stories and its limitations and its past experiences, but stepping up to our highest master self. And from that perspective, the light of God that I am causes me to allow, and then we state that heart's desire. The light of God I am causes me to allow, and then we just state that desire. I'm going to say it one more time if you didn't get it. The light of God I am causes me to allow. Because you see, that's not the part of us that went through trials and tribulations. That's not the part of us that still has an inner child that says, no, 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 even though our adult is saying, yes, 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 yes. That is the part of us that is God. And that part of us that is God, as we own it, as we claim it, and as we experience it, that is the part of us that, just like God said, and this is how it shall be, and it was, we can do the same. Remember, Jesus said, these things I do, ye shall do greater things. Because it's not just one person in Jesus the Christ and man, it's in each and every one of us, this Christed energy. Yeah. This Christed energy is amplified exponentially. Imagine, instead of one person with the Christed energy of Jesus on the earth, imagine 750,000 of us with the Christed energy on the earth. Now imagine 30 of us in the same room. Can you imagine the power that that is? And imagine if each and every one of us says, moves up to that vibratory level and then says, the light of God I am causes me to allow. That's nuclear manifestation. It's like a nuclear collider and all the energy just bursting forth and the manifestation of it happening almost immediately. And we've had some experiences in that class where people have been able to simply manifest immediately because of the collective power on the earth and the collective energy. So right now, if you're under the sound of our voice, just take a moment to breathe. Just breathe. And just for a moment, just work with the idea, I am the light of God. I am not my past. I am not my erroneous thoughts and beliefs. I am not my struggles or trauma. I am the light of God. I am not my gender. I am not my race. I am not my economic situation or my struggles. I am the light of God. I am not my religion. I am not my political affiliation. I am not my relationship to parents, children, peers, or siblings. I am the light of God. And for a moment, just feel that light of God coming to you, coursing through you. You thought you were all those things, but you really are the light of God that you experience right now. So just breathe that in. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. The power of three. We'll do it 3 more times. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. Just breathe that in and breathe in the experience of the light of God flowing to you, through you, as you, and this being you. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. I am the light of God. And from this elevated state, state your desire in the following way. The light of God I am causes me to allow. And state what you allow to be your prosperity. The light of God I am causes me to allow. The light of God I am causes me to allow. The light of God I am causes me to experience. What is the experience you desire? The light of God I am causes me to experience. The light of God I am causes me to experience. And finish it with your heart's desired experience. Now, the light of God I am causes me to manifest. The light of God I am causes me to manifest. The light of God I am causes me to manifest. Now sit in this energy and let this energy possess you. Let this energy fill you. Let this energy be you. Let this energy congregate in your creative center. Now release it to the universe that it can go find its reflection and draw its reflection to you and draw you to its reflection. And this is a way that we can manifest with our God self, not the shame-filled ego self. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Reverend Michael, are there any other questions that we have that we can address at this time?
Oh, of course. Let's see here. Let's go to Kimberly. This is a really good question, I think, that would apply to everyone. Any suggestions to stop shameful thoughts in the moment when they begin to creep in?
Go ahead.
That is actually a very easy question. If a shameful thought creeps in, have another thought such as, I love myself just as I am, and just think about everything you love about yourself, and just breathe God in and tell that shameful thought goodbye. I'm not having you in this moment or
Yes.
in any other moment. Amen.
Amen. You can even ask yourself, what is the opposite of this thought?
Good. Excellent.
What is the opposite of this thought?
Yeah.
This thought is causing me to tense up. This thought is causing my energy to collapse upon itself. And when my energy is tense and collapses on itself, it is not expanding to create. So what is the opposite of this thought?
Excellent. And this actually tells us that we have to be very present
Yes.
to everything we're thinking and feeling all of the time. That's a key part of being on a spiritual path, that being present to everything that's going on in you.
And not dismissing it,
Not
sweeping it under the
Yeah.
rug, minimizing it,
Yeah.
which some people call a spiritual bypass, but dealing with it.
Dealing with it.
Yes. And so those are some of the ways that we can heal the shame that binds us and unshame our way to prosperity.
Amen.
So, Reverend Daniel Newsom, what are you working on these days?
What am I working on? I feel like I don't want to use the word work.
Okay. What are you playing with? What are you playing on these days?
What I am experiencing these days is the light of my God self coming through and taking me to greater and deeper depths of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I'm experiencing the light of my God self coming through when I am sitting with another sibling who wants to transform and reach the consciousness of heaven. So in the private sessions I do, I'm experiencing that. I'm experiencing that in the work of the Sacred Light Fellowship, sacredlightfellowship.org, by the way. Our
Yes.
Sunday service at 3:30 p.m., our
Yes.
Friday message service at 6 p.m., and the spiritual psychic development classes and Path of Self-Transformation on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I am allowing and experiencing and
Yes.
enjoying all of that.
Yes.
That's my quote unquote work.
Okay.
And what about you? What are you? Do you want to use the word work?
No.
Okay. What are you experiencing and expressing these days?
I'm experiencing and expressing heaven. And let me tell you how he and I have been talking about this. We're kind of on a little mini retreat vacation for a few days, and we have been talking about this. The only way that I can describe it is that moment of ecstasy right before you feel like you want to shout. That moment of ecstasy, right where you get to that point of no return, where if you don't draw yourself back, you're just going to just shout with joy. That has been, at first it was an anomaly years ago, and now it is more like the steady state. And that is a wonderful experience to have. So what that has opened for me is in my classes, and I'm doing an 8-week class right now called Mastering Manifestation Magic. There is so much more energy with which to create. And we are so much more powerful in creating with that energy that we are learning of our own mastery and how we can manifest magically and almost immediately. And it's a group energy, and the class is filled. However, what I do is I make the recordings available so that you can listen to the recordings at any time, at your leisure. So it's 8 weeks. You'll 2 days a week on Mondays and Thursdays. You get all the recordings, and you can work with the powerful energy. You can work with the prayers. You can work with the guidance. People ask questions. Chances are the questions that people ask are the questions you wanted to ask anyway. You get spiritual treatments and learn new techniques for immediate manifestation. But most importantly, you swim in the powerful, healing, cleansing energy that enables you to do this. So that's one of the things I'm working with. And the other is I am doing my personal growth sessions with people, personal readings. Some people like me to channel during their personal readings. Some people like my intuitive guidance. Some people like, I call them laser prayer sessions, where you come to me with an issue and we do a laser prayer on that issue. And that 15-minute laser prayer session for only $25 has changed people's lives. I know on my YouTube page, there's one testimonial where someone is talking about how we did a prayer, and her house had been on the market for quite a while, and we did the prayer. She came home and she had an offer on her house. That's what laser prayer does. So I do laser prayer sessions. I do channeled sessions. I do coaching sessions. I do counseling sessions. I do intuitive sessions. And the light of God is so powerful coming through them that they help a lot of people too. So that's what I'm up to, Reverend Daniel Newsom.
All right.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for being here tonight. I want to thank you for your wit, your wisdom. I want to thank you for your humor at the beginning of the classes, at the beginning of this session as well. Thank you for everything. And I want to thank our Reverend Michael for breaking us up at the beginning of the session. I want to thank all who have been here as a part of this joyful journey here on the Miracle of Prosperity. Thank you and good night.